Hi everybody! I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you're all smiling and enjoying your lovely day. So, in this video, I want to tell you guys the story of how I became a 3D artist and, what inspired me to be a 3D artist, and also, how did I become a 3D artist. And I'm gonna just tell you that story since as of January 27, 2017, it is the first remembered date that I actually, started my 3D journey. I'll do my very best to explain the story as best as I can, but I do apologize in advance if by any chance there's some things I may not be able to remember, or if there may be some little things that may be confusing due to the fact that there may be some little memory bits that I didn't explain. But also, I'm also trying to not say anything too personal, because there are some too personal details that kind of led up to me being a 3D artist that I don't want to explain, because again, it's family matters. But I'll do my best to try and explain the story to you guys. And if you guys ever need any extra clarification, especially because now I'll say this in advance. I'm gonna use the term homeless because this story does involve having a house be lost, that led me up to being a 3D artist. And I put this in quotations because, again, we survived pretty well and we were pretty lucky for our situation. But I'll put it as quotation because I have heard people from the internet have different perspectives of what the definition of homelessness means. I'll still use the term as that's how my parents defined it, or defined our situation. But again, if you don't see my explanation being homeless, like actual homeless, like being on the street and such, again, whatever vocabulary you use to define the situation that happened before I became a 3D artist, you can let me know what that word is, and hopefully I'll learn a new word and such. But I'll do my very best to explain the story and stuff. So now you're probably a little confused about why did I mention homeless, because it all started, now I don't remember the exact years. Only my older sister and my dad really know the exact stuff that happened. But I remember that we were in this one house because we were doing a lot of house hopping due to a lot of family issues and financial stuff. But there was this one house in particular we got evicted from, and we had to get out of there as fast as possible. Again, we couldn't sell the house because we had like a mortgage or something. Like we didn't fully own the house to sell it or anything like that. So we were evicted and we had to pretty much get out. And because we didn't have the money to buy a new home, we had nothing. And again, there were a mom, dad, and then there's me, my older sister, and my little sister at the time. She was still alive. But pretty much what happened, after we got evicted, my older sister, they spoke with a friend of theirs, and then their friend spoke to their mom, and they were able to help us out. But it was this may be a little confusing, but it'll make sense as I talk a little bit more. So we had to kind of have the family split for some time. So after the eviction and all that, we had to get out. My older sister and I, we pretty much moved in with the friend. And then my mom, my dad, and my little sister, they were sleeping in the car in a different area, because the car was pretty small and we couldn't just fit all 5 people in there. So we kind of had it split for the time being. It wasn't until the friend's mom eventually got an RV, and this RV happened to be in their backyard. I was confused what the heck it was, but I then realized that RV was actually supposed to be where my family will be at, so we can have our privacy there and kind of live there until we can situate our financial stuff. So we were able to live in that RV thanks to the friend's mom, which I very much appreciate everything they have done, and we still talk to them to this very day. We go to their parties and such. They're really fun, so thank you so much to that friend and their mom. Thank you. But and now you may be wondering though, why didn't we contact our relatives to begin with? And that's a good question. Now, I don't really have the exact answer, but from what I heard from my older sister, at one point we lost complete contact with our relatives for a long time, and now we have contact with them, of course, after we kind of like situate our, the house and the phone and all that. But all I remember is that my sister just mentioned that we lost contact with our relatives for, we lost contact, and it was for a very long time too. So yeah, that's what I assume. That's what happened, and that's why we couldn't just move in with another relative, and we just had to move in with someone's friend's mom's backyard in an RV. But either way, though, we were still very lucky regardless, because I mean, we had to live somehow, and that's our way of living. The RV was our shelter. We were still able to get some food. We were still able to have some enjoyment. Because I'll say this as well, in case anyone's wondering, um, where does this homelessness lead up to me being a 3D artist? I will say, we still had our little gadgets or little devices from the old home, and we kind of preserved it, or my parents preserved it in like their car, and then eventually, um, you know, they brought it to the RV, and we were able to still use those devices. Now there was no computer, like no computer. It was just mainly like phones and tablets, really, because they were portable and such. Um, but pretty much though, for the most part, I remembered, particularly on my birthday. And again, I'll say this too. I'm so sorry for like trying to add extra details, because I'm trying to also make sure this is like clarified. Also, because like my memory is kind of like slowly starting to like trigger more extra details as I'm trying to remember it more harshly. But what happened, this, like, the whole homeless situation, I believe, definitely lasted between, like, 2-3-ish years, like, in between 2-3-ish years. I'll say 3 years, because it was about, like, reached 3 years of being, in that RV. And this is also what I meant by homelessness, is that we lost our home, we had to live in someone's backyard in an RV. Now, again, like I said, the definition of homelessness, I understand people have their own definitions, because we weren't really living on the streets, like actually on the streets, holding signs saying that we need food or anything like that. It was more of, we lost our home, we had to live in someone's backyard, and we had to try to make ends, or my dad was working at 2 jobs or something, trying to make ends meet. He was always so busy trying to keep all of us alive. My mom doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom, and so yeah. So it wasn't easy, but that's just kind of like what happened. But I understand, like I said, if you don't want to, if the term homelessness is, for the situation, is like not a good term to use, or like it comes off as selfish, because considering I had a shelter and such, I do apologize, and please let me know if there's a different, like, better word to describe it. It's just because homelessness, because considering we don't have our own property or anything like that, that's why I use the term homelessness. So again, I just want to say that for just for clarification, because I don't know how the internet would react when it comes to like stories of homelessness. So let me know what's the correct word or anything like that, so I can learn, I could learn a little more. But all I can say though is that within these 3 years though, that we were living in that RV, on my birthday, one of my birthdays, I was actually given this tablet. And this tablet was this was like a really cheap tablet. It wasn't like an iPad or anything. It was definitely like really cheap, because it was like really slow. It was like a small thin tablet, just laggy as heck. But and I didn't even realize what social media was up until I pretty much after I found out about 3D stuff and started my 3D journey. So just letting you know, I for some reason did not use like social media. The only, I guess, social media I only use is YouTube, just to watch videos, and that's about it. And also, of course, I use that tablet for some schoolwork and stuff. Like I had to, because it's like, how else are you gonna Google for your homework? So that tablet was my savior. But I apparently got that tablet. I think either my dad saved up for it, or he went to those like events. Apparently, there's these events. I'm not sure. I remember last my dad checked with for those events. He was at like I don't know. He was just minding his own business, and then apparently there was like this area where there was like full of people, and then he was asking like who those people were, and they were giving out tablets, but they were like tablets for people who are in need, and the only way to get those tablets is you have to prove with your social security, you have to put in some information, they do like a background check on you and such, and if you get approved for the background check, like you know you are financially struggling, then you can actually get the tablet. Like you have to like prove and other stuff like that. So I assume maybe that's where he got the tablet from, most likely, considering. Yeah, I just kind of know with how my, just because my dad said that he's been there before, and I'm like, when's the last time he ever been there? So I guess it kind of makes sense if the tablet actually came from there instead of him saving up for it. But either way, got tablet, and then I was at middle school throughout the time that like throughout the whole homelessness, I was in middle school. Pretty much my entire middle school years were pretty much, in that RV. And I remembered that um I was in these morning programs, because there's a morning and afternoon program that my school has, where if you're like for morning, if you appear early or you want to like play some games and hang out with your friends early in the morning and such, they have a program specifically for that, which is really fun. I used to talk with my friends a lot over there, but I eventually became an introvert because all my friends moved schools, so I was kind of like alone there. And I remembered having that tablet, and I was just watching videos on that tablet like almost every morning, and I came across some videos that were like Source Filmmaker, Gmod TF2 stuff, but that wasn't the reason why I became a 3D, or that's not what sparked me to be a 3D artist. That was more of like what kind of guided me to finding that one video in particular. So I don't know, I saw like a Jima, and then there was like Hatsune Miku, and then I eventually learned a little bit more about Vocaloid and stuff like that. And then as I was listening to Vocaloid music, I eventually came across the video Bacterial Contamination, animated by Dano. Now, some people, when you look at that video, because you can look up right now, and Bacterial Contamination, when you look at the video, you're gonna be like, that inspired you to be a 3D artist. Now, some people will probably be disgusted at the video because it's pretty much Hatsune Miku as a bug creature, like a creepy bug creature. And then there's an orange Miku that's also turning into a bug and stuff. Apparently, like the lyrics from what I've heard has to relate to bullying, because I was bullied at middle school for being a nerd. But I don't know, the song resonated with me, and the visuals, while creepy, was just overall mesmerizing to me, and I just fell in love with it. And um now I'll now like that, it was only just like that one video. Sadly, I know that Dano has gotten into AI artwork and such, so they're not really doing much 3D anymore. They're just more focused on AI, which kind of a shame, but that is their choice, and I can only respect that. But all I can say though is that bacterial contamination was the absolute reason that my mind sparked of becoming a 3D artist. Now I didn't knew what it was called though. All I saw was I saw the video, and I was so mesmerized that I didn't knew what it was called. Like, how do people do it? So it was just only a matter of time, because it did took obviously a couple days to figure out what was the exact terms, and I eventually came across Darren Lyle's video tutorials. The first video I remembered seeing was about how to model a head in Blender, with their character tutorial of this like steampunk styled model. That was the first video I ever saw mentioning Blender, and that's how I found out about Blender. I didn't, hear about Maya. The first thing I heard was Blender. I heard Blender a lot, and this was at the time I think 2.79 was the newest version. And I'll get to it, but I'll get to more information of how the heck I was able to use 2.64 instead of 2.79. But all I know is that I was watching those videos and I just fell in love even more with 3D. So pretty much bacterial contamination led me to being, it sparked the idea of me being a 3D artist. It wasn't until Darren Lyle's videos where I wanted to become, I really, really wanted to be a 3D artist because I saw the videos. I was just mesmerized by it. I didn't care that it was confusing. I just fell in love with it. But the thing was, is I couldn't be a 3D artist. I had no computer. And all I can do is just watch that tablet. Then all I just do is I kept watching Darren Lyle every single day, wishing that I can be able to be a 3D artist. I was wishing for it. I was wishing for it like almost every day. I wish to be a 3D artist. And all I could do is just wait in the RV with a tablet in hand. Eventually, a miracle finally happened. Around 2016, because I actually just DM'd my sister right before this video asking what was the year we left that RV. She told me it was 2016 when she graduated high school. So thank you to my older sister for confirming that. But it was around 2016. 3 years of being homeless. So I believe that would mean that 2013 is when we started being homeless. Around that time, and then 2016 is when we were finally free from it. I don't remember the exact month, but it must have been probably like early, sort of, not too early, but like sort of like early middle 2016. We were finally free from the RV. My dad made the announcement that we were finally moving out. So how did we get out? I learned actually, now that I'm older and I can comprehend things better, I found out that it was actually because of Social Security and the fact that he was approved for retirement. So what happened apparently is that at the time we got homeless, my dad was also at age for retirement. He was supposed to get his retirement checks from Social Security. However, though, they took way too long that they didn't give, like, he was approved, but they never gave his money for 2 years. And because of that, my dad was trying to fight to get that money because, again, he was promised that he would get his checks, after he got approved, but they took way too long, and they realized their mistake, and my dad was able to get the money that he was waiting for, because again, he was approved to be retired, yet he was still had to work, and he couldn't be able to enjoy the beginning of his retirement stuff. But then again, I can understand why, because again, we were still struggling a lot, but eventually, either way, my dad was able to get the money, and the money was, it was enough to be able to get a simple home here in like a different area. And I've been living in this home ever since for like pretty much, ever since 2016 to this very day. Like 7-8ish years. I've lived in this house ever since. So yeah, that's actually quite impressive. And he was able to use that Social Security money, buy a house, and then announce to everyone we're getting the frick out, and we were so thrilled. And I remember seeing the house for the first time. It looked like a haunted house. It was a small house, but I don't know, because I saw it at nighttime, because my dad wanted us to see it, but they were still working on things, like, I don't know. Because, I don't know, they were doing some things, I just saw it at night, and all I could say, though, is just, we were just so happy to be able to just live in that home. And, it took some time, getting used to it and such, but it was definitely the beginning of, like, a proper freedom from that RV, because oh my, the RV, so many issues. The water would sometimes break, like we wouldn't have water sometimes, the toilet wouldn't flush. I definitely remember that the stove in the RV never worked at all. Yeah, like the oven didn't work, the top stove did. I think you had to manually burn it with those, like, those little, like, lighters, those big lighter things. I don't remember. All I know is that I've never have seen my parents ever use that oven, that mini oven in that RV, or something. Or wait, Yeah, I don't know how RVs work. I think there's like a propane tank that's connected and it'll be able to ignite it and you have to refuel that thing. That would actually make more sense, I think. I don't remember. All I know is just that it was a worn out RV, but it was still, you know, especially with our living, our situation, it was the best that we can get. But now we finally live in a very enjoyable, pretty home, which we're actually going to end up moving out from because of what happened quite recently. So, I am gonna definitely miss this home that I'm living in, but it's always nice to make new memories and explore new places in the world. So, hopefully, the next place I move out to, it's gonna be a lot more nicer and I can make even more memories and such. But either way, now you're probably also wondering, okay, now you're out of homelessness. How the heck did you actually start being a 3D artist? Because the I already explained why, but how? So it actually now this is also where I'm going to mention that January 27th, 2017 wasn't actually the absolute first date that I actually started 3D. It was actually technically the first day I started 3D on a laptop, because here's what happened. So after we finally moved out, after some time passed, apparently we were able to have this weird looking computer. It didn't even look like a computer. It was like, I don't know. It looked stupid, and it looked like a disgrace to technology. But there was this computer that was running on a Windows 8 or something like that. It was like an old PC, but apparently I was able to use that for only like 3 forged days. Then it died. But I used that computer because I was asking my mom. I was like, "Hey, mom, can I try that computer over there?" And then she was like, "Yes." So I went ahead and I turned on the computer and I had to ask my mom for help because at the time she was pretty much the most technical person in the house. Now I'm the technical person now. But she was helping me out on setting up the computer, and I was trying to tell her, I was like, I want to download this program, Blender. And I downloaded it and she was watching me. But then errors popped up and I'm like, what is this errors? And my mom was trying her best. Now obviously she never had messed with a 3D program before, so there were, it was still new to her. But eventually, she helped me fix the issue, and I had to start off with 2.64, as that is what worked the best with the computer. So I gave it a chance, and I was able to model 3 things. So the first thing I modeled was actually a white cup, like a white mug. The second thing I modeled was a glass bowl with a blue cloth, and these are tutorials you can actually look up on YouTube. And then the third one was like a plain mesh, and you kind of turn it into an ocean. Um, I'll actually, after recording this, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna see if if those tutorials are still available. If I happen to find those tutorials I looked up as a kid, I'll definitely link it in the description below if I find them. But either way, though, I definitely will say that those were the 3 things I modeled on 3 separate days. The fourth day, however, I shouldn't have done this, but I ended up asking my mom, could I upgrade from 2.64 to 2.79? And then she was like, okay, and she helped me out with that. But then I can only use it for one day. I was trying to, like, I don't know, do something with water in the cup or something, and then that computer stopped working. I couldn't do 3D anymore. Yeah, that was a disappointment. So, I had to wait like a couple more months because of that, because computer be dead. It was 4 enjoyable days and it died. Well, either way though, and I even remembered following those tutorials, and I remember my dad in the kitchen. He was like, "Wow, look what you're doing, Lokana. That's so good." Like he was cheering me on, like, "Yeah." But then computer died. But it wasn't until, and this is where it leads up to January. It led up to January. This is when, because my sister apparently was preparing, she was preparing to go into the military or something like that. But the thing was, some reason she couldn't bring her laptop. I think because my dad was telling her not to bring the laptop or something like that. Because I don't know, because uh, something with tech school or something like that. I don't know. All I know is that I don't remember what reason it was, but my older sister gave me this laptop. And apparently, this laptop, because we were, now that we were able to be free from the RV, somehow we were able to get in contact with one of our grandparents, and they gave my older sister a laptop, which was nice. But the laptop had a virus. It had a virus, but my mom fixed it though. My mom's really good at fixing viruses. Um, and pretty much after that laptop was pretty much cleared up and all that and reset and everything like that, my older sister gave me the laptop, and then my older sister pretty much went into the military for some time. And this was when, January 27th 2017, I finally was able to have a proper laptop, and I was able to enjoy Blender nonstop every single day. Like after school, I immediately just went to my room, opened that laptop up, and I just kept messing with Blender. I remember trying to model some things, but it sucked. I eventually found out about MMD in March, actually, because Blender was being a little too difficult on me, because I wanted to make a character as soon as possible. I was still learning Blender, but I eventually tried out MMD, used the Tita model for some time, and kind of just went from there, and, well, there you go. So eventually, because of this broken computer, I was able to touch Blender just for a little bit of time, then it died. But it wasn't until my grandma, from my mother's side, she gave a laptop to my older sister, but because my older sister couldn't keep the laptop because she had to leave for the military, she gave that laptop to me, and I've used that laptop, and oh boy, I had beaten up that laptop so much to the point where I had to ask my dad, like after some time. I think it was like in my uh third-ish year of being a 3D artist. I had to ask my dad, "Hey, Dad, can I get a new laptop?" And he got the laptop for me though, but he did told me though that eventually you're gonna have to buy your own computer. But um, I definitely will say I eventually did end up buying my own computer, thanks to you guys and the commissions, because this computer that I'm using right now, this really powerful PC, all thanks to you guys in the commissions and my mocap soon, a lot of other things. You guys saved my butt many times. So yeah, but overall, it has been a very beautiful 7 years. Now, I could, I would say like I could go over like how my 7 years were kind of split in regarding what I did with 3D related stuff. But to be honest, though, that's kind of like all I can just say is just I just experimented. I just had fun. I just let my imagination be wild and just have fun. I kept looking at tutorials, but I also did some self experimenting as well. And I just let my mind be wild. And again, it wasn't easy though, because again, it's not like as if, oh, on day one of Blender, I knew what to do. Because despite watching Darren Lyle's videos for like a very long time, you'd think I'd memorize every word he would say, to heart and know what they meant. While I was able to remember the words, I just didn't know what they did. So it did took time for me to learn Blender, and the concept of 3D, but it took time, it took some effort, and pretty much, like I said, every single day after school, I just kept playing with the 3D. I always try my best. In case you're wondering, also, I always made sure, like, right before I had to leave to go home, I always made sure to try and finish my homework as early as possible, so that way when I do go home, I have no homework to worry about. That's why I also went to this after school program thing where they do have homework help assistance. Um, so I was there for like at least an hour before my parents picked me up, and yeah, and I have enjoyed ever since. So, I have been enjoying 3D after school every time, and I try my best to reduce as much homework. And whenever I do get homework, like big homework and such, it did kind of like put a frown on my face. But hey, I still did regardless, and I still got straight A's. So yeah. But either way, though, just to recap the whole story though, it all started with us getting evicted from the house. We had to live in an RV at the backyard of someone's home for like, you know, 2 3ish years. And then on my birthday, within those RV years, I got this tablet, which most likely probably came from those events where you had to like prove with a social security ID and other financial information, and they do background checks on you so you can get this tablet and such, because there's like, again, programs that do that here where I live. um and with this tablet, I was able to find out that, with a little bit of Source Filmmaker and Gmod videos, eventually led me to Vocaloid, eventually led me to bacterial contamination, which became the spark of how I figured out about 3D and why I wanted to be a 3D artist, because of how mesmerized I was at the video. Then eventually led up to me finding out about Darren Lau, which also is the guy that inspired me to make tutorials in the first place, because he was the first person to introduce me to Blender. And then eventually, in 2016, when I was finally free from being homeless, I was finally living in the house and stuff. After some time has passed, this one random computer just appeared. I believe it was given from someone else or something like that. I used that computer for only 4 days before it freaking died. My mom helped me out setting up Blender, and then pretty much, even though I couldn't use that computer, January 27th, 2017 is the day I remember getting that laptop and starting up Blender for the very first time again, and finally being able to continue on with my journey. And I was 12 years old when I actually started this. 12 going on to 13, and you know. So here I am. So, and that's my recap of my story of how I became or why I became a 3D artist and how I became a 3D artist. And um like I said, I was just mesmerized by the video. It wasn't like I made 3D because I don't know. It wasn't because of like super like crazy reasons, I guess. It was more of like 3D has just mesmerized me so much that it just, you know, like, and it also, I guess like 3D has helped me out whenever I'm like in distress situations, or if I need to release some stress and stuff. So yeah, um honestly, all I can say is just, um yeah, I guess that is the reason why I also started 3D. Not just because I was mesmerized by that video, but also like because of how mesmerized I was. I guess it eventually led me to thinking, it's like kind of like a way to kind of like, I was hoping it could be a way for me to kind of distract me from the whole RV situation, but I couldn't. But I guess Darren Lau's videos definitely has helped me bring a smile to my face throughout the whole like RV situation, because it always made me happy. And yeah, but either way, I did 3D for fun, and now I'm pretty much doing it as like my career, and I enjoy it ever since. And I'm really glad to be making tutorials for you guys. And I really, if I were able to tell Dano or Darren Lyle, like if I were able to ever meet them, or at least like get in contact with them, all I can tell them is thank you for being the reason why I became a 3D artist in the first place, because they they really are the reason, and I look up to them, to this very day. So again, just a very big thank you to those two, but also to every little event that happened throughout how I was able to become a 3D artist and such, and why. Like, despite the RV situation being really bad and too much drama and all that, I can honestly say that it's just, you know, I guess good comes from bad situations, I guess. And um I'm just really glad that, what happened happened. Yeah, do I have my regrets at times? Of course. I have my regrets. I probably made mistakes throughout my what led me up to being a 3D artist, but who doesn't? We're all humans. But all I can say though is that I'm just really happy to be with Blender for 7 years. I'm happy to have learned MMD even for 7 years, because I started Blender and MMD around the same time. And just overall, just continuing to learn Unity or any other 3D program, and even mocap. You also may be wondering, how the heck did I find out about Rococo? I just saw an ad and I thought that they were really pretty, and then I saw like review videos and I kind of fell in love with them. This was in my third year, I think, of being a 3D artist, or learning about 3D. Is that I found out about Rococo, and I wanted to, like, one day I wanted to like get their stuff, and well, now I got their stuff. So yeah, really nice. But either way, though, that's pretty much it for at least my story. Obviously, there could be there's extra details I may have, but I'm gonna hold my tongue on it because it's like they're really unnecessary. Maybe for a different story, I guess. But all I can say though is thank you guys so much for all the support. I hope that the story I mentioned to you guys, hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully there may be some people inspired to either be a 3D artist themselves or to even make tutorials or anything like that. Because I really do hope to inspire people to continue on the 3D legacy. Because I don't want to be the only person doing tutorials or this 3D stuff. I want to see other people, I want to see other people fueled by like the craving of 3D and being able to make their content and such. Like I really want to see that because like I probably cannot be on YouTube forever, but I do hope that throughout my time here on YouTube, hopefully I can inspire people to join the 3D world, and because if I was inspired by someone, I hope to inspire other people, and also I hope to see what you guys create with your 3D stuff. And even if you're not interested in 3D stuff, I just hope to see you guys smile and just pursue whatever dreams that you guys have. Alright? Just like how I was able to pursue my dream finally, wanting to do 3D for, throughout my time of being in RV and my wish coming true. I wish that for other people as well, they also get their wish of being able to, pursue happiness in their lives. Thank you guys again for listening to the story, and I really hope that you guys have a lovely day. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Okay, bye bye. Thank you to all my Snowflake members. In case you don't know, I have YouTube membership, so if you want to further support this channel and what I do, then feel free to join the Snowflake members. Otherwise though, just your support means so much to me and I appreciate every ounce of it. Either way though, with that being said though, hey bye bye everyone. I hope to see you guys next time, okay? Bye bye!